This is Peter Christian Hessing, and thank you for joining me for another important talk. And I hope you're having a great day, and God and Jesus and Yahweh Jehovah Allah is really blessing you all, and I hope we can work for peace in the world. Here is one of my apples here, green apples, and every time I look at it, and I say we have to do everything to save the world and to prevent nuclear war, and also to prevent global warming, and to protect our air, our land, our seas, and definitely our environment, so that we can have peace in the world and have something to pass on to our children and grandchildren around the world. A nice, beautiful green apple. And it reminds me that we really have to get serious about having nuclear disarmament and having reducing all the nuclear weapons in the world down to zero. And we can do that. We can do that. I'm an inventor. I've had a U.S. patent, and I love to invent things. And I've worked on a lot of inventions. We have the technology now to invent anything. Our technology can do anything. We can prevent nuclear war. We can control all the weapons in the world. We can have a system to end poverty in the world and have 24/7 health care for everybody in the world. Now is the time to also have 24/7 health care for everyone. And we really need for the superpowers, America and Russia and the United Nations and all the countries in the world, to really get very serious about having global zero, reducing our nuclear weapons, which now are about 4,000 to 5,000 operational nuclear warheads, and probably another 9,000 or more other nuclear weapons that are in their arsenals. But the operational weapons are probably about 4,000. So what we really now have to do, one of the most important things that we have to do, a lot of people will say, why should we really reduce these nuclear weapons? These nuclear weapons can destroy the world entirely, and if you have something that can completely destroy the world and kill 8 or 9 billion human beings, we definitely have to get rid of it. If we don't do anything, what will really happen if we allow the situation to go on is that China, which now has about say 250 operational nuclear weapons, and India, which has probably about 110 nuclear weapons, and Pakistan, which has probably about 120 nuclear weapons. These countries, China, India, and Pakistan, are going to accelerate their nuclear weapons. And what could probably happen, I drew a map here, my map of the world is not that great. I just drew it in a hurry here. What would really happen is that China and India and Pakistan, these are countries that are next door to each other. China would probably acquire 1,000 nuclear warheads. India would do the same, probably acquire another 1,000 nuclear warheads, and Pakistan would acquire probably 1,000 nuclear warheads if we don't do anything about the situation as it currently is. So it's very important that America and Russia try to include China and India and Pakistan in their agreements, in their nuclear disarmament agreements, and say, okay, America and Russia will reduce their nuclear stockpiles and arms, operational arms, down to probably about 500, so as to prevent China, India, and Pakistan all from accelerating their nuclear weapons up to 1,000. And that would add another 3,000 nuclear missiles in the world. So we would go from having probably about 4,000 nuclear weapons in the world to about 7,000 nuclear weapons in the world if we leave the situation as it is. So it's very important now that Russia and the United States and the entire world, United Nations, take nuclear disarmament and the idea of global zero very seriously. You really don't want India and China and Pakistan from adding another 3,000 operational nuclear weapons in the world. That would be very dangerous. It would lead to probably a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. You would have probably terrorists in Pakistan trying to acquire these nuclear weapons, and it would be very difficult to have disarmament there. So it's very important that the entire world get very serious about nuclear disarmament. We can disarm by creating a 24/7 inspection system by the International Atomic Agency and the United Nations. This would mean that the International Atomic Agency would inspect all the nuclear weapons in the world. There's probably 4,000 nuclear weapons. They would have a special electronic system, and they would inspect the system, all these weapons in the world, so as to make sure that no country will launch a first strike. They would inspect weapons on planes, on the sea, submarines, on land, and that would be done on a 24/7 basis. The aim of this inspection is to ensure and prevent any country from launching a first strike nuclear attack. And once we eliminate this first strike nuclear attack, which we can eliminate by creating this 24/7 inspection of all nuclear weapons by the International Atomic Agency and the United Nations to ensure that no country launches a first strike, then you don't need to have a second strike. This will eliminate the need of countries having to build any kind of nuclear weapons, and the countries will be able to have disarmament down to global zero. We also have to establish a nuclear weapons court. We might have to go back to the Nuremberg court, which started trying for war crimes and crimes against humanity. We have to set up special laws that will treat the launch and use of nuclear weapons as crimes against humanity and war crimes. And this will help us to completely eliminate the threat of nuclear war from the world. And I would like to talk more about this, so we have to get the United Nations, get the presidents of America, President Obama. We may have, who knows, will be the next American president, whether we have a Democrat or Republican, get the Republicans and Democrats, get all the countries, the Chinese, the Russians, the Indians, the Pakistanis, include them in our nuclear negotiation, and the North Koreans. We have to get them to realize that we have to free the world from nuclear war, and we can do this. And we can also build smart weapons that can prevent conventional warfare and prevent terrorism, and prevent other countries, like whether it's Iran, or prevent any country. With a 24/7 nuclear inspection system, no country needs to have nuclear weapons. We can completely eliminate the threat of nuclear weapons from the world. Thank you. God bless, and let us bring Jews and Christians and Muslims together and make peace and love. If we have peace and love among all the nations, we don't need any kinds of weapons. So God and Jesus or Yahweh or Allah intended us to live in peace. So let us come together, Christians and Jews and Muslims and all peoples of the world, to make peace and eliminate the threat of nuclear war. As Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, they'll be called the children of God. So give your hearts and lives to God and Jesus, and let us have peace and everlasting life. Thank you. God bless. This is Peter Christian Hessing. Join me again for another important talk.